Squishies, back again with another vlog. This is Steven Universe, Season 5, Episodes 17 and 18, Can't Go Back, and A Pale Pink Rose. So, yeah, pretty huge development in these two episodes. Pretty massive shift to what we thought we knew so far, namely, Lapis has been hanging around and watching everyone. Now, obviously, there's the big plot twist that everybody's been talking about, but I actually want to talk about Lapis first, because I actually really liked Can't Go Back. I empathize a lot with Lapis. I don't think I've made much secret of that. I identify with her to an extent. She and I share some issues. In particular, approach, retreat. I want to run away where it's safe, but I want to be around other people where it isn't. That is a struggle I know very well. And it's one that Lapis kind of epitomizes and reifies, which is one of the great things that fantasy can do, is take something that is an internal struggle in real life and make it external. Make it like there is a literal cosmic threat where her friends are, and that terrifies her. But also, she's a trauma survivor who experienced a severely abusive relationship, because that's pretty straightforwardly what her relationship with Jasper was depicted as. And she is struggling to recover from that, and part of that struggle is the fear that now attaches itself to making relationships with other people. Relationships with other people are not safe. You can get abused, and she knows that firsthand. But she also knows that she needs relationships with other people. And so the threat of the diamonds becomes an externalization, a reification of this internal struggle within Lapis, and it's an internal struggle that I know very well. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the chance to see her voice actress sing. I'm blanking on her name, but wow, she knocked that song out of the park. And there's some beautiful visuals in that song, too. The use of the observation device, hologram projector, whatever you want to call it, and the way that combines with the shadow Lapis casts onto it was amazing. And it again reflects how she feels when she's with other people, because she craves that connection. But that approach-retreat thing isn't just physical presence, it's emotional presence as well. She holds herself back around other people. She keeps herself in where it's safe instead of reaching out to them. And as a result, like occasionally a little bit of her leaks through. The scene I'm thinking of in particular is at the Totally Not Thanksgiving dinner with Steven's uncle, cousin, whatever it was, whose name I'm blanking on, cousin. But I'm blanking on his name. Where she makes the joke about being trapped and starts laughing hysterically. That is Lapis. Like, that is anxiety and holding yourself in, and then a little bit of what's underneath leaks out in weird, not always appropriate ways. And it makes the people around her uncomfortable, which causes her to shut down and pull it all back in. And so she feels like a shadow. She doesn't feel like her real self around other people. But she craves being around other people and being able to be her real self around other people. That is a struggle I know very well, and it's one that really spoke to me and that I feel they depicted really, really well. So I wanted to make absolutely certain at the start of this to cover how much I love the show's depiction of Lapis. As for the big reveal in Pale Pink Rose, actually, no, before I get to that, one other thing. I really like that the lesson Lapis came this close to learning, the thing that she really needs to learn, is that, yes, she has destroyed what she had. I love that line, that she was so scared of the diamonds destroying the new life she built that she destroyed it herself. Because that's very real. That's very human. But she fears that things can't go back to the way they were, and she's actually learning the same lesson that Lapis learned that Peridot learned in Back to the Kindergarten, that you can't go back. Things can't go back to how they were. You can't go back, but you can move forward. You can go ahead with your life. You can go into whatever's new. The past has been destroyed, but there's new possibilities, always. So, the kindergarten can never be restored, but there's the whole rest of the world to explore and build something. What she had at that barn with Peridot is broken and can never be restored, but she can build something new with Peridot and with the other gems and with Stephen. She can build a new life again, and it might be better. And frankly, the more self-understanding she has, the more courage she has, the more she is able to bring herself to connect with other people, it's almost certainly going to be better. But it's hard to do. And I appreciate how hard it is. And when something happens that scares her, she runs. Stephen's dream, from our perspective, we don't believe that it means the diamonds are coming. And so I was initially a little bit baffled, like, why doesn't Stephen tell her what the dream was about when she's panicking? It might not have helped, but it might have helped calm her down. But then I realized Stephen doesn't know that the dream doesn't mean the diamonds are coming. Stephen is afraid that he's having these pink diamond dreams because Pink Diamond is still around. He had the Blue Diamond dream when Blue Diamond was on Earth. He's afraid that Pink Diamond is still alive and is nearby, and hey, guess what? He's right. As we find out in the next episode, he is Pink Diamond, in the same sense that he is Rose Quartz. And I am actually running a little low on battery and have a feeling I'm going to be talking longer than the remaining battery allows. So I'm going to cut right here for just a second. Okay, back. So moving on to Pale Pink Rose and the big reveal. First of all, I think this reveal was brilliantly handled. They seeded tons of foreshadowing, much of which is only obvious in hindsight. I had a discussion in the comments of one of my past Steven Universe vlogs, I'm pretty sure it was the one for Jungle Moon, with someone who was very upset by the power Steven displayed in that episode, because it was, he had never shown the ability to dream about the past before. But now we know what he's actually dreaming are, in a sense, his own memories, his past life memories, so to speak. So that makes sense now. Pink Diamond was nearby, just as he feared. And it also makes sense of a whole lot of other things. The confusion around how, I had already suggested that maybe Pearl shattered Pink Diamond, because maybe Pearl could get close, would be trusted, and could get close enough to attack. As it turns out, yes, but also no. Which is the best kind of way to do a reveal and do this kind of foreshadowing. There had been theories floating around that Rose was Pink Diamond, but most of them were built on this idea that Pink Diamond was somehow shattered or destroyed, and then reformed into Rose. The idea that they had both coexisted kind of caused people to drop that theory. The reveal that like Rose had interacted with Pink Diamond, and in fact had shattered her herself, kind of ended that theory. But there were still a lot of inconsistencies in that. We kept seeing Rose's sword being used. Well, Rose's sword can't shatter gems. So it's thus very interesting to me because the story that Garnet told, almost all of it was done in the Utena style, colored costumes, but just black silhouettes for the actual characters themselves, on like simplified backgrounds. And that's something Utena used a couple of times for sequences that were not to be trusted. Memories that the show wanted us to question. And so it's telling that the only part of Garnet's story that wasn't animated that way was the Diamond Attack. Because that was actually the only part of Garnet's story she was really there for, that she wasn't mythologizing. And she wasn't there for the shattering at all. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me grab some water. So the reason I bring this up again, because I think I may have talked about this on that episode, Your Mother and Mine, whenever I vlogged that. But the reason I bring it up again is because there's another use of animation reflective of Utena, the use of shadows at the end, in Steven's dream at the end of Can't Go Back. Those were used in Utena as well for sequences that were kind of the opposite of the sequences that used the silhouette animation. The silhouette animation was this is a person presenting a story, a fairly straightforward story, don't trust it. While the Shadow Playgirls, which were what the shadow sequences were, presented these frequently obscure, obtuse, difficult to interpret scenes that were very rich in imagery and actually did carry a lot of meaning and truth to them, but it was non-obvious. Steven Universe does a lot of things very well. It does not do mystical and mysterious very well. So, like, it doesn't really pull off the Shadow Playgirls, but I don't think it's really trying to. I think it's just trying to signal, hey, this is truthful but not literal. And that is exactly what happens. Pearl, using Rose's sword to shatter Pink Diamond, is truthful but not literal. As we see in this episode, where the reveal itself is handled brilliantly. Pearl has been unable to speak to this. We've known for a while now that she has secrets that she literally can't say. It's been heavily implied before. Brilliant use of the Speak No Evil emoji. That is some A+ emoji game. And we then get this wonderful sequence of going through the layers of who Pearl is. And Pearl has always been a very layered person. She has her surface level, and then she has her issues underneath, and then she has her issues underneath that, and so on. I love the line about how Surface Pearl is good at compartmentalizing. Because, of course, she is. She is very good at locking away bits of her life and her experience and her emotions. But, of course, they always come leaking through, because they always do. And I love just Steven descending deeper and deeper into Pearl inside Pearl inside Pearl inside Pearl's Pearl. That's a great gag in an episode that is otherwise very heavy. And we see some very heavy things. We see Pearl sobbing over Rose's decision to have a baby. We see Pearl devastated in the aftermath of the Diamond attack. We see her poofing Pink Diamond and palming the gem. And we see the moment in which she decided to do it. We see her and Rose's final conversation before this. And so, you know, the big reveal is really well handled, really well shown. Kind of follows the show don't tell rule, which is not as ironclad a rule as people make it out to be, but it is cute that they literally did it in the show. That Pearl can't tell, but she can show. And so yeah, all really well handled. There's just one problem. I really dislike that Rose, and therefore Steven, is Pink Diamond. I really liked Lion 4. I really liked this pushback against the idea of magical destiny. You know? Chosen ones, all that kind of stuff. I've never liked those. I like the idea of characters who make their own paths and their own destinies. And that was what Lion 4 was very much about, that you don't know who the baby's gonna be. You don't know what their destiny is. You just know that there's gonna be a person. But this screws with that, because it means that Steven is the long-lost heir to the usurped throne. You know, he's the son of the lost ruler of the evil empire, that the two main figures of that empire that we've seen, Blue and Yellow Diamond, miss desperately, loved immensely. This is going to assuming they can be persuaded that Steven is Pink Diamond, this is going to change their behavior enormously. And I feel like that cheapens the show. I feel like that, you know, Chosen One is just cheap. It's more interesting if the rebels are just rebels. It's more interesting that Rey is no one in particular. And I wanted Steven to be Rey, not Luke Skywalker. But he's Luke Skywalker. And that's boring. You know, Luke Skywalker is a boring character. Mark Hamill is great. I love him. And his role in Last Jedi was pretty good. But in the original trilogy, Luke is a boring character. We've seen him in everything. And that's Steven. Steven still brings a lot of things to the table that are unusual for this kind of hero. But he's still now the chosen one. And that's depressing. I still have hope that the show, because this is a great show, pretty much my number 2 show right now after The Good Place. I have high hopes that Steven Universe will find a way to work with this and question it and find its own path and its own way of doing things. I am, by the way, aware of the leaks. I do not think they're as bad or as spoilery as most fans seem to. I'm aware that is partially because I don't care very much about plot spoilers, and partially because I am generally pretty good at predicting where things are going to go. And yeah, that is the obvious and natural direction for this show to go. It just is. It's the way this show does things. And that's why this reveal took me by surprise, because that's not how this show does things. Pink, Rose being Pink Diamond is not how this show has done things in the past. It's new, and it's not new in a good way, because it's new to this show, but it's old hat to everything else. And that's disappointing. Nonetheless, it was a brilliantly handled reveal. And the episode had some great little details in it. I love the pile of phone numbers Pearl has accumulated. Especially because some of them are 7-digit numbers. And all you kiddies may not know this, but the region where Steven Universe is set has had 10-digit phone numbers for 20 plus years. If people are giving Pearl 7-digit phone numbers, then they are giving her 7-digit phone numbers in the 90s. Pearl's been accumulating phone numbers for a lot longer than we knew. And she's just filed them away. That's very interesting to me. And I know this about the region where Steven Universe is set because I live in the region where Steven Universe is set. I have lived here most of my life. Delmarva is like 2 hours drive from here. And I grew up like half an hour in the other direction. It's like, and this is also the area where Rebecca Sugar grew up. This is the area where Ian Jones-Quartey grew up. This is deliberate, I am convinced. Those 7-digit numbers are saying something about Pearl. Specifically, they're foreshadowing that there's more to Pearl than we knew, as the end of the episode reveals. The other thing I wanted to say is Cookie Cat and Lion Lickers. I pointed out back ages ago, I can't remember if it was in a vlog or online, like in Tumblr or something, but I pointed out ages ago that Lion Lickers are Rose, and that's why Lion loves them so much. What do I mean by that? Steven has healing spit, where Rose had healing tears. Steven's tears turned Lars into a pink zombie. Symmetry suggests, therefore, that it was Rose's spit that turned Lion into a pink zombie. Rose, in other words, used her spit on a lion. She is a lion licker. And that's why Lion loves them so much. Okay, well now we get something even better. In the very first episode, Lion Lickers replaced Cookie Cats. Because, Cookie Cats couldn't compete. People just liked Lion Lickers better. Steven disagreed. There were a small number of people who preferred Cookie Cat. But overall, Lion Lickers were better. And so they took over. Cookie Cat is Pink Diamond. Cookie Cat is the first thing to ever activate Steve's gem, the Pink Diamond. Cookie Cat is a refugee of an interstellar war who left their family behind, just as Pink Diamond left behind the other diamonds. And the second time Cookie Cat shows up in Future Vision, it's in, Steven's weird imagination sequence where he's attacked by Cookie Cat and says, "I never thought you could be evil," which is exactly stuff he's been dealing with feeling about his mother since season 3, and finding out that she was an interstellar tyrant before she was a rebel is just going to add to that. So, yeah, all of that is mixed up in Cookie Cat. Cookie Cat is Pink Diamond, all the way back in episode 1. That is either brilliant foreshadowing, or there's not really a term for this. There's definitely a thing that happens in long-term serialized stuff where something that was not written as foreshadowing is treated as foreshadowing. It's used in a way that makes it retroactively foreshadowing. So it still functions as foreshadowing if you're watching it, but for the creators it wasn't. Unintentional foreshadowing. Either way, it's great. So yeah, that's about it. Great couple episodes. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to gaming videos, vlogs, essays, and more. And I hope I'll see you all next time. Bye!